So we are looking at episode 7 in season 4 entitled Epiphanies. And I think that's kind of a weird title for this episode. We just finished an epic battle between good and evil. Now we are spending some time contemplating the consequences. This episode looks like we are immediately running into the next story. No real breath between the epic battles and what happened with the shadows and the first ones. And we are looking at what else was going on in the galaxy while Babylon 5 was saving it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. My overall thoughts, it makes me think of some of the behind the scenes info about this, not just this episode, but this season. So season 4 was originally supposed to be the end of the show. I think J. Michael Straczynski and the producers were thinking like, okay, we're not getting renewed, so we're going to end the whole thing in season 4. Come to find out, after season 3, season 4 got picked up, and then they got picked up for another season 5, which is the actual final season of it. And there's some things that you can see that kind of come through. One, they end the Shadow War in season 4, episode 6. I didn't mind it. Actually, it was really good. That ending of episode 6 was really poetic, and it was great. It was like, had the whole series ended that way, would have been happy. And I would still have fond memories of the show. But now they have to move on to the next unaddressed storylines and go into season 5. And then they run into some issues with season 5. There's some contract issues. So a couple of characters disappear. Some new characters appear. Without me going too much into it, it's not as strong. When we get there, you all will see.
I would say, like, for most shows, final season is never very strong, especially when you have one where you didn't expect to either keep going or to end when you did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just normal for a lot of shows. But, like, when they ended, then they expected to end at season 4 with the Shadow War. There was a lot of loose ends. Like, it was a lot of potential for continuing. So they do have something to work with. And it is a soap opera type drama. So throwing issues at you the way they are at this moment is very 90s soap opera. Of course, I've only seen that soap opera, so that's all I know. Oh.
You know what? You're right. They did have a lot of threads hanging, and they could have been picked up by other networks or even later. So, and then as a lot of fans will see, like, some of these things get picked up and explored in some of the movies. The movies are okay. They're not as strong, and that's the thing that bothers me, but we'll explore those later.
This does do a lot better with having time to invest you in the situations that the characters have. Like, some things just don't make for good movies because you need more to be invested in what's going on.
Yeah.
Especially when a lot of the characters are very professional, you don't really get to be very personal with them. So, like, I guess compared to maybe Marvel, which did an enormously good, long job of investing us in characters, there was so much personality that was thrown at you at first that you get to know them as in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So you're invested in that character, even if you don't know who they are for the whole thing. Whereas other movies that have done bad, like maybe Black Adam, where we could care about you people, but we don't.
Hey, look.
YouTube.
I like Aldous Hodge should definitely be a superhero. He should be the next Black Panther. I don't mind him being Hawkman. I say that's a good audition. So whoever's in charge of Marvel, y'all figure it out with his agents.
I love Hawkman, Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
Well, I like their thing that they have together. Like, as a person, I don't like them, but I like him as a character that I don't like.
Yeah.
I like that I don't like him as a character because that makes for an engaging character.
Yeah. Well, there's a character that shows up in this episode that we don't like. Bester, which is kind of interesting. So to get into this episode, we see it opens up with the celebration on Babylon 5, the end of the Second Shadow War. Sheridan is discussing it, but he doesn't sound happy. He sounds kind of, I don't even know what the word is. He's kind of, he's gloomy.
Yeah, I thought he was like kind of worried. Like even Delenn, the conversation with Delenn where she's just like, "Can you just enjoy the moment instead of trying to fix something, finding something to fix?"
Right. And of course he's like, what? What's wrong with me? But of course the answer is no, bro. She was right too. She's like, you got to find problems to fix. But I thought it was interesting that, okay, 200 years in the future, we're still dancing swing. I think that's pretty cool.
What is it with this time period? And it wasn't until like the remake of Star Trek where like anything that was considered sophisticated in the future is jazz or classical or romantic period.
Yep.
We'll be crazy and do the romantic period and not the 40 years of classical music that we have to pick from.
Right.
Classical lasted longer, but as far as what is like famously recognized as classical, anything after that is new classical, which is annoying.
That's weird. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I absolutely still love Beyond All Reason that they played what was it, Public Enemy, and the doctor's like, is this classical music?
Yeah. They did that same joke on Futurama where he was like, he was listening to Sir Mix-a-Lot. He was like, I just want to sit in my room and listen to classical music, and he's listening to Baby Got Back. It's pretty funny. So while that's going on, Bester on Earth in apparently a tower with the Psi Corps symbol on the top of it. He's being commissioned to a secret program involving Psi Corps, Earth Force, Night Watch, and the Ministry of Peace. Remember all those losers that failed at everything that they ever did? Yeah, now they're teaming up.
That makes sense. It's the Legion of Doom.
Right. The biggest losers in the galaxy, all from Earth, all humans. President Clark is like, okay, look, we're going to gather all our forces together. We're going to figure something out. And their idea is like, we got to shut down Babylon 5. It was funny too, because the guy who they brought in, terrible actor, by the way. I'm sorry, whoever that is, but I gotta point this stuff out. But he says like something happened that has President Clark spooked. We know what happened. The Shadows lost and they left the galaxy, and now everybody's scrambling.
They lost their big gun.
They lost their big guns. They lost their power, their allies too, their planet killers and all of that. And so now they need to figure something out. And President Clark is like, okay, we got to shut down Babylon 5. I got a question for you. If the Shadows and the Vorlons and the Minbari and the Centauri and the Narn couldn't do that, what makes President Clark think that Earth can do it?
Probably because they think they have authority over Babylon 5, even though they technically don't. But like people who are feel entitled,
yeah,
maybe it's just more that cognitive dissonance. And then it's like the whole racist thing against aliens that they have. Like, oh, they couldn't do it because they're aliens, or they don't even see the other species as like really trying to go against Babylon 5 because all the wait, no, that's ahead of me. That wasn't last episode.
You're right. Like
Was it last episode where they did the report where they're like Babylon 5 is the enemy?
No, not last episode. That's coming up in the next episode.
Oh, okay.
But no, you're right.
Babylon 5 as the enemy. They haven't done it as deeply as they're going to.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I was bored at work. Sorry.
No, that's good. No, but Bester has his orders, and we're like, oh shoot, now here comes Psi Corps to ruin the party, whatever. We jump back to Centauri Prime, and Verini is talking to Londo, and basically he has a ship getting ready to leave, and Londo is explaining like, yeah, thank you very much, I'm leaving because, you know, with all the sudden changes around here, I don't think anybody really likes me, so I'm about to go. Y'all stay cool, peace out. And right before he leaves, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Verini, the Centaurum has decided they want to take a little bit more time to decide on who's going to be the next emperor, because they seem to have fucked up a lot in the last couple of emperors we had. And he's like, so what they've decided to do, they're going to assign a regent. And Verenia's like, a regent? Who would even want that job? I mean, it pays pretty well, but it's just like a ceremonial job. It's not even a thing. And Londo is like, I mean, yeah, but they've chosen you. And Verenia's like, really? And Verini starts to show a little bit more of his personality. He starts to be a lot more flamboyant from here on out. Well, he's always been kind of flamboyant, just scared because,
Yeah. This time he was joyful.
Yeah.
But she's like, ooh, how about pastels? I'm like,
yeah.
it's crazy, but it's not homicidal crazy. It's
right.
He's
a little
why curtains if the curtains are perfectly fine.
He wants to be a little decadent. He wants to show some fashion.
He deserves it.
Yeah. Absolutely. After he spent so much of his life fearing for his life under Cartagia.
I mean, if that's what he's going to do with that power, I'm okay. Change the curtains all you want. Change the whole palace.
Yeah.
You're not hurting anybody.
Right. Back on Babylon 5, Franklin is monitoring or examining Jakar, and he's like, hey, we can get you a prosthetic eye. There's a lot of scarring, and the prosthetics that we have are more for humans, but we can figure it out. And Jakar's like, will I be able to see the way I've seen before? And Franklin explains some of the downfalls. He's like, you might see scan lines, you might get some interruptions around power sources, but I mean, you be all right. And you notice Jakar is wearing the eye patch that he wore in Londo's dream or his vision of the future.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just slide that in the back pocket and hang on to that. And Jakar explains why he turned down power on Narn, because Franklin asked him about it, and he's like, "Is it true?" And Jakar is like, "I've seen what power does, and I've seen what it costs. One is never equal to the other," and that is a very profound statement. In other words, there is an analysis of power, and Jakar seems to be pretty correct about his analysis, which is power is going to change you, and that's what it does. And what it costs is several lives. And instead of murdering people, instead of getting revenge on the Centauri, he's like, look, I'm going to kind of step out of this whole thing. Because remember before when he was trying to be the leader of the Narn, when they were under Centauri occupation, and on Babylon 5 they were like, hey, we need a new leader. Jakar, you're a little too old. And he's like, no, you guys need to listen to me. I'm trying to save you people. And they're like, nah, we think that we need our own leader and we're gonna fight back. And it's like, the Narn as a people, yes, they're very strong, they're very noble, but they're also very dumb. And Jakar knows this, and he's like, I needed to step out of that for a little bit.
And like, how much have they been left without? Like, even their planet was stripped, so now, even though they were officially gone before they took over again, they were gone for like 100 years or so, and they were struggling. And we know that under certain circumstances, under a lot of bad circumstances, it's hard for people to grow. I just happen to be taught a lot of the statistics when it comes to survival for children and how much that leaves for things like education, how much education you can get. There are outliers, of course. Like, you can grow up in poverty, you can grow up poor and still end up smart and achieve things, but it is very hard. There are a lot of
obstacles. Yeah.
I feel like they've had so many obstacles of surviving and fighting that they can't think past that. Even when they weren't there, they're still left with the destitute of having to survive and fight on the world. Like, when we first started in season 1, they were having a famine. You can't grow nothing. Like, you can't think and learn and prosper. You can't even eat.
You can't eat. They're several hundred years in the past. Like they've been reduced to a state that they were several hundred years ago, trying to subsistence farm, and their planet has been devastated. Also, we know that the shadows destroyed their ability to make telepaths, so they've been altered genetically somehow too. So they're in some rough shape, but their whole thing was, we want revenge. Jakar encouraged them not to do that, but he's like, I can't let them make me a dictator. We need to rebuild the Kari. We so he stepped away from that whole situation, which leaves the Narn kind of in a bind. They got to figure some shit out. and hopefully they will. Elsewhere on the station, Garibaldi is staring in a mirror, I guess, after he showered or whatever. So he recalls about his abduction and how he doesn't remember how he got there. And then he gets a phone call. The phone call is like, hey, we got a video message. We couldn't really see anything. And Garibaldi is like, okay, well, send it through. The video plays, and it looks like one of those early 2000s music visualizer screens.
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes off, and he's like, all right, cool. Now, computer, destroy the video.
Oh, if he was his normal self, he would have that sent straight to some type of analyzing.
Yeah. Yep. He's following orders, basically. He's been programmed, and it seems like he's been activated.
Yeah, Garibaldi don't like following orders unless he likes the orders.
Right. And even then, he doesn't follow them all the way.
Right.
So then he walks into the meeting with the senior staff. It's Sheridan, Ivanova, Franklin, and he just says that, hey, I resign. I know this is going to be a shock to everybody, but I resigned as head of security. And they're all like, what is going on? You shouldn't think so hastily. But Garibaldi tries to mount a logical, reason for it. And it just sounds selfish. It sounds like the reprogram of Garibaldi is to make him an even bigger asshole and to and to strike out at everybody. Cause he says, look, I'm just telling you because I think you deserve to know. You can't hold me to this Earth Force contract. We're essentially free agents. Who says that I have to fight for everybody else's causes? I'm scared. The world, the universe is big. I don't know what's going on. He mentions Disney Planet, and I put a little note on that because it's like Disney bought a planet. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, yep, if they've survived 200 years, they probably will own a planet or a moon. Something like that.
Yeah, but they don't talk about the moon too much. They talk about Mars.
That's true. In almost every other sci-fi thing that I know, the moon has some colonies and stuff on it, and then Mars, and then the asteroids. So yeah. And
it's closer.
Right.
Maybe they didn't want to be stereotypical.
That, or maybe they want to add a little wrinkle into the whole thing to add yet another faction. But I think does the Expanse talk about the moon a little bit? I think they do. It's like resorts or something on the moon.
Expanse. Did I watch The Expanse? I watched
you
it.
You definitely should.
It's not a political drama. I think I may have watched a little bit of The Expanse. I'm not sure.
I like it. I like it a lot. Hopefully we get a chance to touch on it, at least in some free discussions. Maybe we won't do a whole season, but we can talk about the whole series. I like it a lot. But Garibaldi says he sees no better way, and the only chance to get out, which is kind of weird. Get out of what? He says he's going to go independent and help people find things. And this is where I'm like, this sounds super selfish. I'm going to go in business for myself and help people find things that they lost during the war. And he's like, I can make a pretty penny for myself and build a life for myself. On the one hand, I'm like, okay, the war is over and you might feel lost, but then the way that you're going to carve out your life is you're going to exploit people for the stuff that they lost. On the other hand, it is Garibaldi. Garibaldi knows how to do things. He's a smuggler. He knows how to find things. He's an investigator. So if he goes independent, he can like do a lot more of that, and he probably would feel more fulfilled. Now, if he wasn't like programmed as a sleeper agent, yeah, totally. But we know what's up.
It makes sense for a character who wasn't comfortable with what they were doing in the first place to say what he said about his job. It's part of his personality. You cannot bring up Garibaldi before the season without mentioning that he loves this job and needs to do this job. And even if he didn't, if y'all took me away from this job, I still do this job because I was born a cop. My dad was a cop. My grandfather was a cop. You can't take it out of me. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna do this one.
Right. So out of
His
character.
best friend. And without him doing any type of like growth, it's like you disappeared, you came back, and now you pissy.
Yeah. Yep. So there's that. And a couple of things happen real quick here. One, we switched to Zach. He's helping like, I guess the security staff process people who are entering the station, look out for something that's unusual. Londo pops up. Zach does not like Londo, which I think is hilarious because Londo loved Garibaldi, but Zach, they don't care for each other. And Zach says the only reason why Londo is even still alive because I have no clue what this guy's even saying, because Londo just says some wild shit. And then as they so go ahead, sorry.
Londo's always trying to flatter people when to get out of whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows how to lay it on real thick.
He's gaslighting, and that's why he doesn't make any sense. And I don't think he has the word for it.
Yeah.
I think he's pointing out the fact that he keeps trying to trick people, but he doesn't catch on that he's trying to trick people. He just catch on to the fact that you make me dizzy when you talk. And that's what gaslighting feels like. Yeah. I was on this route, and then you went on 20 other routes, and I don't know where we are anymore. And that's the point of gaslighting, to pull you off of where you were.
And, to kind of emphasize the joke that's made there, Zach is like, let me get out of here before something weird happens, like the second coming. And knowing him, I'm 3, what do you say? I'm 3 commandments down. So as soon as he walks away, a bunch of Elvis impersonators walk into the station. That's weird, but
that's when the Bester.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Bester comes on. Ooh, I'm messing up. Bester comes on like right after Londo. He's kind of ahead of Zach at this point. He's like, "Hey, I'm here, and you know what? We'll wait in our regular quarters in the brig. I think I know where it is." So him and his squadron just marches on. Yeah, Zach doesn't like Bester either. Nobody likes Bester. Zach is running into like people he just doesn't like. He's like, I hate these people. And then he's like, let me get out of here before some more weirdness comes onto the station. Knowing my luck, it'll be the second coming. And then he walks away. As soon as he walks away, a team of Elvis impersonators enter the station. It's the 90s. That was a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's not like that weird, I guess.
You know what? I wonder if they reboot this, if they reboot the series, will it be Tupac lookalikes? I don't know. Like, will people even know that reference? I don't know.
There'll be a bunch of Taylor Swift.
Oh my god. Oh, or Michael Jackson impersonators.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of those. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We quickly switch to Jakar. Jakar walks in on Garibaldi, and Garibaldi is like, "Oh, hey, Jakar. Yeah, you were looking for me, and yeah, I appreciate it." And then Jakar is looking very stern, and he's stone faced, and he's marching towards Garibaldi, and Garibaldi is like, "Oh shit!" And he's trying to back up. He's like, "I'm sorry." And then Jakar grabs Garibaldi. He's like, "Welcome back, Mr. Garibaldi," and he picks him up, and he's hugging him. And remember, the Narn are super strong, so he's squeezing the life out of Garibaldi. Enjoy. And he's like, "Please put me down. I can't breathe. So he puts him down. He's like, why did you apologize? He goes, oh, no reason. And Jakar dismisses the apology, saying that the universe has rewarded them both. And he talks about how through his friendship, Garibaldi became the one thing outside of his own people that he could care about, that he would risk being captured for. And I thought that was very touching and very moving because, one, we know that he's a very proud Narn. And he spent the first 2 seasons just focused on himself and how to promote his people. And then when the war broke out in season 3, he was very sad. And he's like, nobody's going to help me. I need help. I need help. And the one person that he turned to was Garibaldi. And Garibaldi showed to be his true friend. Not just somebody that he knew, but he also engaged him on a spiritual level too. And that was pretty deep.
Yeah, they had a really nice mutual respect for each other. Like, Garibaldi's assholeness was respectful. But he was a respectful asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes sense, but it does.
Yeah.
He's honorable with being an asshole.
I mean, he kind of plays it off like, this is me being a blue collar guy. It's like, no, man, you an asshole.
He's sort of an anti-hero. It's like, I'm not going to do the right thing the right way.
Right.
I'm going to do the right thing the wrong way. Because I think that's the better way to do things.
And at the end of that little encounter, that's where Jakar says, it also helped me serve my people. So Jakar, his change was expanding and finding friendship outside of the things that he selfishly cares for, and learn to care for other people. And remember, he also spent most of season 3 trying to figure out how to help Babylon 5, and he wasn't good at it until like the very end.
Yeah, they didn't let him in for a while either. They're like, y'all are running around doing something, and y'all ain't letting me know.
Right.
I want to know. I want to help.
Right.
Can I do it too?
And the way it served his people is, granted, he had to get captured. Granted, he had to be tortured, but he struck a deal with Londo that ultimately freed his people from the Centauri, kind of forever. So that's a big deal. Real quick, we switched to Zach being promoted to security chief by Sheridan, and he knows Garibaldi's odd behavior since his abduction. And Sheridan is like, he's aware of this, but he's like, look, your first task, we need to get Lita Alexander prepared for a meeting with Bester, because we don't like that guy. She's our resident telepath. We can't let Bester scan us.
Mm-hmm.
And then their attention is drawn to the ISN broadcast, where they learn that Earth has issued a travel ban to Babylon 5. And this is kind of like the first step into isolating the country type of thing. Like, not only do we not like them, but you can't go there. So Zach goes to Lita's apartment, her quarters, and now she has like stuff everywhere. Like, granted, it's still in shopping bags, but and most of the stuff is like on her bed. But she's like, look, before, when I was working with the Vorlons, they said all this stuff would be a distraction. Now I don't work for the Vorlons. I figured, hey, I got some money. I'm gonna go get some stuff. Now I don't know what to do with everything. And
were the Vorlons paying her?
She had to have been getting paid.
That's probably gonna come up later, but like, I don't know. She kind of escaped into their space and said, "Please take me," and I was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta give you money, don't we?"
It had to be a thing because Kosh hired her originally.
Yeah.
So there had to be something that like an account or something that pays her. So yeah, because I don't imagine her doing it for free. Right? I don't know.
Well, at first she was obsessed with them like it was a drug or something.
True.
So when she went rogue, she went seeking them.
Yeah, that's right. She was hanging out with the Vorlons. She was like the only telepath to do so.
Yeah, she was kind of addicted.
Yeah.
Even like before Kosh died, and she went to him like, please, he's whatever. She wanted him to enter her because she was craving it, and then with the other one, like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah. Yep. And and Zach informs her like, hey, we Bester's coming, and so the captain want to make sure you're there. And she's really upset. She's like, look, how come every time somebody comes to see me, they need something? To me, this doesn't really sound like Lita, but I can understand it a little bit. And she's like, I know Bester. She interned for the Psi Corps as a field agent, so she wasn't like a Psi Corps. She's a P5, and Bester can make other Psi Corps nervous. Because like Psi Corps make people nervous, and Bester makes even them nervous. He's the big bad. He's the Darth Vader of the Psi Corps. And she's like, I'm a rogue telepath, and basically Bester's gonna try to arrest me. Zach admits to her like, okay, you're closest to the Vorlons makes people nervous, and you know they changed you, and it's a little weird. And she finally says, well, I'm glad somebody's being honest. I guess I needed to hear it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I wonder if she felt people's thoughts whenever she was around, you know?
I mean, she can. But also, like, she's kind of left alone in an apartment with no furniture, and nobody sees her until they only come to see her if they need her. And that's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
Like, anyone got family who only call you when they need something. It gets annoying after you start noticing, I only see you because you want me for something. And her now having this freedom, she not only has freedom from the Vorlon, she has more power with it too.
Yeah.
So maybe she's like feeling her worth now that she's like over the drug of the.
Is she having Vorlon withdrawals? That's wild.
Oh. But like, I guess she would be like down if it was, but now she's like acting very confident, and that could come with the power. With the more, she has more power now, and it's not being controlled because she had the power for a while.
Yeah,
It then changed, but it was being used by the Vorlons. Now she's got this power, and no one is making her use it but herself.
Yeah,
if she wants to.
That's a good point. So in that encounter, Zach, first of all, I think, it was Talia that Zach was really trying to like connect to or whatever, and she was just like, no. So he does the same thing here. He goes, hey, how about later I come with the pizza and help you unpack? And she seems pretty open to that. Back in the Zocalo, Londo is enjoying trying to haggle with someone. They're turning him down, and he's just laughing and being his old Londo self. Season 1 Londo. He turns around. There is Jakar, and Jakar again staring stone-faced, looking right at Londo. And they encounter, and Jakar declares, like, look, I am not part of your universe. We're even, all done. Don't even look in my way. And I can understand that because Londo is the cause of so much suffering of Jakar and the Narn people. So it's like, you stay on your side, I stay on my side. Yeah. You saved me from prison. You freed my people, but also fuck you.
Right. And it's like, especially controlling people or more importantly, entitled people. They feel like no matter what wrong they do to you, if they do one good thing, you're supposed to just hold on to that like it's the end of the world. And people ain't gonna do that.
Right.
Some people may do that if they're desperate enough for your attention because they don't know any better. And I'm not dissing anybody for that. I've been in that position before. But like they're looking for someone who's going to be weak enough to say, I need you. So I'm going to overlook all of the other stuff that you've done to accept the one thing that you're okay with me thinking.
Right.
Because he's insecure. He's insecure as fuck.
Right. And there he is staring face to face with Jakar, and Jakar missing one eye because of Londo, scratches on his face because of Londo, stripped of all of his titles and privileges because of Londo. He's like, he's kind of lucky that that's all he wants. What do I want? I want you to leave me alone. Stay out of my life.
But really strong people who go through controlling situations like that, when they don't come out looking for revenge, they come out wanting to just live their life. Like, just keep the negativity away from me, and I'm gonna go do me. I don't have time for revenge or hate or anything. I have time for me and what I'm moving on to.
Yeah. Yep. Next, we see Bester having his meeting with Sheridan. He really doesn't like that Lita's there, and he's like, "She's a blip. I should just arrest her right now. Like, I don't get it." And Sheridan's like, I could totally nail your head to the table and set your body on fire and feed what's left of the carrion eaters. But the world isn't perfect." And at that moment, Bester's kind of like, "Okay." What we find out is like Earth Force isn't going to attack Babylon 5 directly again, so they're going to try to discredit it instead. So Bester's plans are a disinformation campaign against Babylon 5, which they've already started a propaganda war. And he's like, then after that, we're going to move into phase 2. And Sheridan and the team is like, well, what's phase 2? And Bester's like, this information comes with a cost. You guys need to take me to Za'Ha'Dum. And the idea is because the Shadows left, some of their allies are still in Psi Corps. So he can't really pursue Za'Ha'Dum back at home or anything like this, because this is Bester also going rogue. He's not an ally of the Shadows. He's solely out for himself, and probably not even Psi Corps, but just psychics in general. He wants to go to Za'Ha'Dum to steal Shadow technology. While that's going on, he tries to scan everyone in the room, and Lita blocks him and almost knocks him out. And he's all confused. Then he comes forward with the information. He goes, basically, there's going to be a false flag attack. It's going to be undertaken by Black Omega, taking place in Sector 49. The idea is to attack heavily armed transport ships and then blame it on Babylon 5. And so the idea is discredit them. They want to show, I think what he's saying is like they want to show Babylon 5 there and taking the blame. So if Babylon 5 doesn't show up, the cargo ships will say they were attacked going to Babylon 5. And if Babylon 5 do show up, people will see that Star Furies are destroying transport ships. So it's kind of a lose-lose.
Yeah.
So we have that revelation. We really quickly move to Garibaldi is giving his security codes to Zach. This is where I said Garibaldi is using some S tier gaslighting, because Zach is like, I just want to make sure you're not, making a mistake. And he looks Zach dead in the eye and goes, when I hired you, people were saying I was making a mistake. Now look at you. You're head of security. And it's like, God, what is it? Are you calling this guy a mistake? Or are you at a point where you're like, hey, I'm so good, I picked you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like he had to remind him once again, like, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. So don't question what I'm saying.
Right. Sheridan and Delenn, they have a moment, and I think you'll really like this part, because they're on a White Star heading to Sector 49. Sheridan was very happy that Delenn is there, because he couldn't imagine spending so much time with Bester on board. And Delenn, she says, sometimes I try to imagine you having nothing to do. You're on a beach and there are no problems in the universe. And he's like, well, how does that end? And she says, with your head imploding. And he's like, what? And she explains, like, you are a problem solver. You like having things to solve. If there was a tangled rope or a knotted rope, you would be there toiling with it to untie it yourself. Like, that's just who you are. And I'm so glad she recognizes that, because we've been saying that all series. Like, he be running headfirst into stuff. Granted, that was also Sinclair, but they have a personality type.
But also, she likes it when he does that.
Yep.
Hey,
Yes.
and she'd be like, "No, we can." And he's like, "Yes, we are." And then she's looking at him all starry-eyed.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, which one of them doesn't run headfirst into the most dangerous situation ever?
They do, but hers are more social dangerous, and his are physically dangerous.
Yeah.
So they balance each other out that way.
Yep. So then we run into the confrontation. So the Black Omega Star Furies, they are detached, and we don't see who is piloting those, but there are some Earth Force Star Furies with the transport ship, and they are under attack. Bester, while this is going on, Bester is really trying to get Lita on his side now because he realized that Lita has been blocking him, and she's like, nah. When the Star Furies are attacking, the actual B5 crew comes in. They stop the Black Omega Star Furies and send them back, and the Earth Force Star Furies with the transport with the cargo ships are like, I thought you guys were the bad guys. And Ivanova, who is there on the front line, she's like, nope, we're here to help you guys.
Ivanova gets to go out and get some action. She's been begging for it.
What did she say? The rumors of our disloyalty have been greatly exaggerated. And so they're like, yay. And the Black Omega people are destroyed. Like, they murdered those people. Mm-hmm. Bester, when he's talking to Lita, he's like, you are under an obligation to tell me what happened to you. And this is where I'm like, this is definitely supposed to be Talia with her enhancements. Cause both of those telepaths have been enhanced, and Bester is really trying to figure out what happened. They get to Za'Ha'Dum, and Delenn comes in, and she's like, okay, Sheridan, we're reading a gathering of ships outside of the jump gate, and it's the allies of the Shadows evacuating Za'Ha'Dum. And they turn to Lita and hey, scan the planet. She comes back and she's like, I don't read anything. There's no one down there. It's dead. And Sheridan's like, oh shoot, everybody get out. And Bester's like, what are you talking about? It's free right there. It's like, nope. People are gathering at the jump gate. Everybody, the planet is dead. We need to get out of here now. And as they are retreating, the planet begins to break apart and explode.
Sheridan likes blowing up stuff so much that he knows when other people are going to do it.
Oh yeah, he knows a trap when he sees one because he sets traps. Mm-hmm. And Bester for once was just not smart enough to catch on to what was going on.
Bester just got a lot of power he throws around.
Right. So we see them back on Babylon 5. Bester is walked into the cryostasis pods where Franklin is keeping the telepaths that were the Shadows use, and this is where Bester's lover Sanderson is being kept, and he's talking and he's admitting how he has been manipulating events, and he was the one who ordered Black Omega to do the false flag, but he also betrayed them to Babylon 5. And he said, look, I don't care about them. I would sacrifice them 5 times over. I'm just trying to help you. And he talks about how he misses her and that there's no one at home for him to talk to. And I'm like, you creepy little monster. Nobody cares about you. But
good people over all the time. Maybe they talk to you.
Right. Nobody wants to talk to you, you creepy little bastard. But he also mentions how he has his ace in the hole that will hurt Babylon 5. It's Garibaldi. I mean, what more can I say? But that's what's going on. We switch to Sheridan walking in and talking to Lita, and she's like, what are you doing here? He tells her, oh, I just stopped to see how you're doing. He speculates on what happened with Za'Ha'Dum. He said the first time you visited Za'Ha'Dum, they sensed that you were there, and the machines that they have can pick up on telepaths, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what if that stuff was still working? And when we got there, an extremely strong telepath was able to reactivate some of those machines and cause a meltdown. And, nobody would really know. Also, we had Bester with us. So that person would be able to block Bester from being able to access the machines and destroy the whole planet. And she was like, yeah, it's possible, hypothetically. And Lita explains that maybe it's best that the technology of the shadows doesn't fall into the hands of Bester. Maybe she just wanted to hurt him because she knows he wanted to use it to revive his lover. And she's like, maybe I just wanted to be able to hurt him the way he hurt everybody else. And I'm just like, wow, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
And so Sheridan, he understands, but he warns her to make sure that he informs her the next time, or she's going to face consequences. As Sheridan leaves, Zach shows up with pizza in hand, and he's offering to help her unpack. And she looks so relieved and happy that she has a friend.
Yeah, and I also am relieved and happy that with all the stupid stuff that they keep 200 years in the future, at least they still have pizza.
I'm glad you said that, because I was wondering, what kind of pizza is that? They can't really get cheese or sauce or anything. Is that one of them dehydrated, pre-made pizzas? Is that a Totino's? Is that a Totino's? Do they just hydrate and toast that thing?
Oh yeah, how would they? Unless they're using a non-dairy cheese.
Yeah, they're probably using some sort of protein substitutes, kind of like in Firefly or something. But I'm kind of interested. Yeah.
Soy cheese. Soybeans are really productive when planted almost anywhere.
It's all kinds of plants that you can get, you help make some meat substitutes with high protein in it. So, and lots of nutrients. So I'm kind of interested. Are they eating a little bit more dense food on the station? Because there's no livestock up there.
No, which would be interesting. I mean, are they getting imports from other planets? And would the meat be some other type of animals? Or the milk be from some mammal on another planet? Because apparently they have mammals on other planets.
Right. I know for a fact that they're importing some meat stuff, but it's expensive. I bet the station produces stuff for meat substitutes, and they probably don't like that much. And so every once in a while they'll swing for some expensive imported meat. Because Garibaldi had his thing. What was this? Some sausage or something? I don't know.
Sausages, olive oil, butter, and
all that imported from Earth, and it was expensive. So, yeah. So we quickly switch. Ivanova is reporting that because of the failed false flag incident, people don't believe President Clark on that, and he's saying that it's just a big misunderstanding. It's just a big misunderstanding. And then Sheridan ponders where the shadow servants fled with their technology, because he's like, we know that they're not the only ones out there, and if they're leaving the planet, where are they going? And then we see that on Centauri Prime, Verini is waking from a nightmare, and he is so freaked out and scared, and he's like, oh, it was just a dream. But then he grabs his neck and he pulls back his collar, and he looks in the mirror, and there is a being wrapped around his neck with a giant eye, and that eye opens, and it's terrifying. And the show ends. And if I remember correctly, this is the Watcher or the Keeper that Londo had on him when he was in the future as the Emperor.
Oh, yeah.
So, Centauri Prime not catching a break, but who cares, because they started a war in the whole galaxy and they need their comeuppance.
This Star Wars just to start, though. And I'm feeling good today. Let's go fight somebody.
Yeah. Yep. So I would say this episode, it's a good wrap up to the Shadow War, and also a good launching point for the next major problems. I am concerned about the telepaths part, because one, just those characters are very interesting. I'm not so interested in what's going on with Centauri Prime. I'm kind of like, you know what? They kind of deserve what they're getting.
Yeah, because it's not quite connected to what's going on in Babylon 5 yet. It may pull Londo away
Yeah.
for something else. And like you said, he was wearing the same eye patch from
the dream.
Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is the segue they're using to move into that whole thing.
Yep.
So still, a side mission for the aliens.
Yeah. Yep. But I think it also we're left with the question of who are the other allies. I mean, we know that humans on Earth, part of Earth Force, were allies and they were influencing, because we did see Morden on Earth at some point in season 3 talking to Psi Corps and all of them. But I guess the question is, like, who are the other allies? Who are they talking to? And how will they affect what's going on with Babylon 5? Also, Babylon 5 is an independent state, just waiting to connect back with Earth Force once President Clark is gone. So how long can they sustain that?
Yeah, because they had that issue before when they first broke off.
Yeah.
But now that they're broken off from Earth, they are also aligned with the non-aligned worlds.
Yep.
So they do have access to resources. They're just not Earth resources.
Yeah. They got and a lot of Minbari food coming to the state.
Yeah. And that's coming from Narn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sad. But they have all those friends now from other countries, planets, so they'll sustain. It'll be difficult and it'll be weird because it's sustaining through the aliens, which also slightly maybe feeds into the propaganda that Earth is saying that they're not with us anymore because they're with the alien. Wait a minute, this is why I don't like watching ahead of time, because I get everything all.
Oh, you getting it? Yeah, you getting episodes mixed up. That's okay.
Yeah, they did say that before though when they broke off. It was like because they already shown them working with the Centauri.
Yeah. Yep.
And they already showed they been knew that the Lynn had changed herself to a half human.
Yeah. And Earth had become like very pro-human, chauvinistic, anti-alien. We know that because of the war with this Minbari in the past.
Yeah. So they would them to just keep going with that wouldn't be out of pocket for humans.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see the development coming up for the rest of the season.
President Clark is going to claim that more stuff is fake news.
Sounds familiar. But I know what happens to President Clark, and it is poetic justice. So yeah.
I haven't watched that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay, let's get out of here. And just like last time, I don't want to ask any more questions that can lead to spoilers. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Voices in Hyperspace. You can continue the conversation on our Facebook and our YouTube at Voices in Hyperspace. I'm Legendary Black Lion. You can find me on Instagram at Legendary Black Lion.
I'm Captain Mel Asylum with the Starship Rebellion, and you can find me at melsrebellion.com, where you can find the other things that I do in my social medias and the books that I write.
Excellent. And in the meantime, we'll see you out.